Hi, I am April. I am a self-discovery business strategist, and I believe self-discovery is your best business strategy. And so in our last conversation, we talked about self-sabotage and it being a passive-aggressive stance against your best self. So today we're going to go a little bit deeper and talk about the core reasons that self-sabotage keeps showing up and will keep showing up. And that's just fear. Good old fear. But not all fears created equal, right? Some fears are legitimate and some are abstract. And if you don't know the difference, you'll keep spinning in confusion instead of building with clarity. Um, and here's how that goes. Abstract fear is the surface level story, right? It's the one that we say out loud to people. And legitimate fear is the root belief that is often running the show that we either don't realize or we just don't want to really admit to. So, for example, you might say, I don't like being on camera, which I used to say that a lot. But what you really mean is that I'm afraid of being judged, I'm afraid of being rejected, and I'm afraid of being seen. And that's the legitimate fear. And usually the legitimate fear has history. And the history behind not wanting to be seen is a lot of the time is being bullied, right? Or living in a household where someone was very critical of you. And that shows up in adulthood as I'm just going to hide. I'm not going to put myself out in front of people because people might laugh. They might, tell me they don't like my face. And I can't deal with that. And it now shows up in your nervous system as visibility equals danger, right? And then we just sabotage ourselves. And I can totally relate to this one because I was bullied as a kid, right? I was skinny. I had buck teeth. I had thick glasses. Like I was the perfect person to pick on. And not that I should have been, right? No one should be picked on. But if you add up all of those things, like in reality, I was perfect. I just didn't know at the time that those are just words and those are just kids and that they also had insecurities and we all had insecurities and we all had things about us that we didn't really, that we thought were a little bit weird. But being on the other side of it now, I see that number one, it was never anything wrong with me, and that it was never about what the kids said about me. It was about what I accepted about what they said about me. And at the time, with dealing with other family issues and just being a child, and my parents were separating, and it was just a lot going on that it was a perfect storm of life is crazy right now. My parents are splitting up, and then now they're picking on me. Maybe they're right? Like maybe also that too. Bring it all in. Let's do it all. And it was just a lot of stuff. So it was never about that it was anything wrong with me, but that's the way I took it, and I carry that. I carried that into my 20s, right? Self-worth, self-esteem, just really, really low, really, really just not wanting to look in the mirror, not really seeing my own beauty. That for me is not just a physical thing, it's just a way of appreciating yourself. And I just did not know how to do that until I probably was late in my 30s. Like, it's crazy. But it showed up for me in business as now it's time to be seen. And if you're in business, it's not that you may not have to do videos or anything like that and be seen in that way, but you do have to be visible in some way to be able to get clients, right? And to be able to get customers. So it's like, it's overcoming that fear to be able to have the impact that you're supposed to have. And until you can be seen and until you are comfortable being visible consistently, right? Come out of hiding. It's going to be very, very hard to grow your business. And I know that just for a fact. Like, I've been hiding for years. And it doesn't help that I'm introverted naturally anyway. It was, again, another perfect storm of just, let me just go in my cave and learn a bunch of stuff and just have fun learning. And, I don't have to do anything else, right? And clients are going to come to me. That never happened. So look, another example is I'm scared of success. And the legitimate fear here is I don't want to be responsible, right? For nothing else. I'm tired. I already got stuff, all this stuff going on, and I don't want to have to do all of this. Like, this is crazy. And this right here, this business that I'm growing, which I always say it's a business, but it's my dream. It's my vision for my life. It's to help others to bring their dreams to life. Always had this dream since I was like maybe 20-ish. Like, I already knew what I wanted to do in life then. But I had a baby at 21, and then I had another one at 23, and I had another one at 27. I had 3 children before I was 30, full-time job. And trying to build a business from the ground up, and having the 3 kids and being in my 20s, fairly young, it was a lot. And I knew that it could be successful, but that success scared me because I'm like, well, if I have all of this going on, how is that going to fit? Right? It's literally me asking me, how is my dream for my life, my vision for how I want to impact the world going to fit in my life? Which is a very weird question now, but then that's how it was, right? So what I did instead was just take care of them kids and go to work at some job that I don't really want. That's pretty much how that happened. And I did that for another 15 years. So again, the fear of success usually shows up as more responsibility. And it's that fear that you're like, you know what, I'm not about to take nothing else on. I'm not doing any of this. And you put it to the side. You put the dream back on the shelf because it just seems like yet another thing that you have to do. And another fear of success is sometimes you don't want to disappoint people, right? You don't want to, like, again, this vision of mine, this dream of mine, I have people who depend on me. Like, what if it doesn't work out, right? What if it doesn't work out, right? And I had to come to grips with that, because that one statement right there put me back a year, right? Like, meditated on that for a year. Like, well, what if I do this and it just doesn't work out? And like, we live in a tent on the side of the road. Like, I can't just quit my job, right? I don't want the job, but I just can't quit the job. And it was just that whole thing, just going back and forth with that for a year or so, probably more. And then another thing about fear of success is I don't want to outgrow people, right? Like, I love the people that I love, and I don't want to ostracize them. And a lot of the time, especially in, something that you're growing, usually people around you, your family, people you love, friends, and things like that, they don't sometimes they don't even understand what you're doing, right? But I believe that the people who really, really want to rock with you and really, really support you, they're going to be there, period, point blank. And the people who believe that you're becoming and you're growing and you going after the vision for your life is a problem, well, you don't need them anyway, right? And it is having courage enough to let people go that don't fit, letting people go that don't believe in you, and it's not about them believing in your dream, it's about them just being your support, right? And there are ways to help people to support you better if they don't understand and things like that. Another video for another day. But yeah, so again, if they're not really rocking with you like that, like, you can't make your business or your vision more palatable for others, right? And a lot of the time, just going further into the fear of success and not wanting to take on more, it kind of makes you feel like, well, maybe I'm just being lazy. Maybe I'm not living into my potential. And that might be true. But if you're already exhausted and there's already a lot going on, that is the truth, right? So now it's learning, number one, the mental, emotional, and physical strategies to be able to go after your dream and not have so much fear of it being successful. And what else do I have here? Oh, okay. So again, so now that we know the difference between a legitimate fear and an abstract fear, which I'll mention it again, abstract fear is, it's a surface thing. It's the I don't want to be on camera. And the legitimate fear is I'm afraid of being seen because I think somebody's gonna think my face is funny looking. So what I want you to do in your journal today, which I really suggest journaling for everybody and to do everything, write it down, is to get very, very honest, right? About what you really fear. And you can use ChatGPT. Like ChatGPT, if I say that I don't like being on camera, what is the deeper fear that I might be feeling? Like sometimes if you can't explain your feelings, ask ChatGPT, like for real. Or Gemini, use one of the AI tools to kind of dig deeper into what you might be feeling. Sometimes we don't have the vocabulary for what we're feeling. We just know we feel it, or we just know that we're experiencing it. And I don't know, I use chat like that. And I'm going to also make a video on that, just using AI to, kind of work through your thoughts. Or just again, sit down and just really figure out what's the fear. What do I say to people? Like, what have I said out loud lately? And what is the fear behind that? Right. And I think that's all that I have for today. And I guess the final thought that I have for today is that self-sabotage isn't just a bad habit, right? It's often a misunderstood reaction to unresolved fear. And you don't need more hustle. You just need more honesty. It's just time to tell the truth. That is just the number one tool that I like to use with my clients. Your next level isn't waiting on more confidence, right? It's waiting on clarity. So let's stop spinning in the abstract and start healing the real stuff. You are ready. So let's go. And remember, don't chase the bag, be the bag. Talk to you soon. Bye.